of the generosity of my heart, I called off the dogs last week when we could have finished you right here once and for all in this ring. You've been given another opportunity to live. All you have to do is disappear. Because as you can see, come on up here, Jesse, come on up here. As you can see, I have handpicked this gentleman by the name of Jesse Neal to finish you, Kimo. You see, just as I had scoured the planet to find you to be able to stand alongside the Universal Soldier, I found the man who is going to eliminate you. You see, this is a man who has all the same military training you do. A man who has techniques that I'd love to tell you about, but we'd have to kill you if I did. This is a man who has experienced terrorism firsthand on the USS Cole. And you, Kimo, are a terrorist. This is a man who is a trained professional wrestler, unlike you. A man who is the only man to come out of the most decorated tag team of all time, Team 3D's wrestling school. So he matches your military expertise. He's better trained as a wrestler. And he hates foreigners and commies and terrorist scum like you, Kimo. So you have one choice. Disappear or have your career ended at the hands of Jesse Neal.
Jesse Neal. He is the Korean assassin, Kimo.
Well, folks, the chase, so to speak, is on. Jeff G. Bailey, agent attorney, has revealed his plan. We saw it a week ago on this very telecast. His plan to eliminate the Butcher of Pyongyang, Kimo. That plan, TNA star Jesse Neal, a man who has a like military background to Kimo. A man who has served the American Armed Forces, a man who has been overseas, a man who is trained to compete as a wrestler by the 20-plus time World Tag Team Champions, Team 3D. So he has not only the same type of military background that Kimo brings to the table, but he has a highly decorated training background as well in the sport of professional wrestling.
Well, you know, not only that, this man right here is a survivor, Greg Hunter. Jesse Neal, on October 12th, 2000, was on the USS Cole, a Navy battleship that was attacked by Al-Qaeda. It was bombed. One of his closest friends was murdered in that suicide attack. So you can just imagine the thoughts that run through this man's mind when you think about a communist, when you think about a terrorist, when you think about a no-good foreigner like Kimo.
And I apologize to anyone who may be watching this broadcast for the comments of my broadcast colleague. They are not those of NWA Anarchy, the National Wrestling Alliance, the ownership of this promotion, or the fine television station or website that you happen to be watching this broadcast on. And now that I may or may not have just saved both of our jobs, Kimo is going to town thus far on Jesse Neal. It was a week ago that Kimo stormed the ring after the Universal Soldier Shatter successfully defended the National Heavyweight title against Aiden Chambers. The mind games continued. Once again, Kimo's music played during one of the National Champions matches, just as they had 2 weeks ago against Stephen Walters. This time around, the National Champion did not fall for it, but as soon as the match was over, the Korean Assassin hit the ring. Jeff G. Bailey began to frantically call for someone out of the locker room area, and that person was Jesse Neal. And Jesse Neal and the National Heavyweight Champion proceeded to brutally attack the neck of the Korean Assassin, a neck that we do not know one way or the other if it is 100% now, 7 days later. And Jeff G. Bailey may have just taken his life into his hands by putting his hands on the Butcher of Pyongyang.
Well, you know, first of all, it's not Jeff G. Bailey's fault that Kimo tripped in the ropes. He's blaming him. Why has he got his hands on Jeff G. Bailey? That's an unprovoked attack.
Right now, Jesse Neal grabs him, saves Jeff G. Bailey's life, and rams the Korean Assassin head first into the steel ring post. And now Jesse Neal bounces the Butcher Pyongyang's head right off the ring apron, clubbing forearm across the chest. And right now, Kimo, very much the worse for wear, and this is not a position that we typically see him in.
Well, you know, you're absolutely right. You know, it goes back to the wrestling training of Jesse Neal. You know, we talked about his military background. That's his wrestling training. This man is thus far the first and only graduate of Team 3D, Bubba Ray and Devon, training school. This man went in and was trained by one of the most decorated tag teams in the history of professional wrestling. We know how tough and how brutal they are. That's where this man got his background from. If you can survive that, if you can survive a suicide bombing on a battleship, this man right here is going to take it to Kimo. Jeff G. Bailey's assured me.
Well, right now, the Butcher Pyongyang pounding back on Jesse Neal, and Neal with the back elbow. Kimo is largely self-taught the sport of professional wrestling. He was brought here by Jeff G. Bailey with little to no formal training in the sport of professional wrestling. Through being with Jeff G. Bailey and the National Heavyweight Champion, Kimo learned more and more about the sport of wrestling and began to mimic it. Now, he is on the receiving end of a man who has received training from the former NWA World's Tag Team Champions, Team 3D, and going right after the neck is Jesse Neal. That is the formal wrestling training coming through.
And, you know, you sat here and you said Kimo was self-taught. He leached and he mooched off of Jeff G. Bailey and the Universal Soldier Shatter, the national champion, the #1 contender to the 10 pounds of gold. He mooched, he leached, he fed off them. He was a parasite. And it wasn't until Jeff G. Bailey dumped Kimo for being a parasite that was brought to light.
And right now, my partner's opinions aside, Kimo has shown himself to be a very skilled professional athlete. His tenure here in NWA Anarchy. Kimo, though right now, is taking a beating from Jesse Neal. Clubbing forearm across the shoulders. That'll shock the neck further. Superplex perhaps coming out of Jesse Neal. Palm thrust, head up. That will weaken the neck further of the Korean assassin. And now, a big kick. And that's some of the martial arts training of the Butcher of Pyongyang coming to bear.
Well, I'll give Kimo credit where credit's due. He saw that Jesse Neal was going to rush in. He anticipated the rush and just threw his feet up in the air, threw his whole body in the air, and caught him with that kick.
Both men are down. The crowd here at the NWA Arena, they have adopted the Korean assassin, and they are rallying behind him. Jesse Neal's right hand's blocked repeatedly now, and the martial art palm thrusts, the measured blows of the North Korean Kimo coming to bear on TNA's Jesse Neal. Brought in here, a hired gun of Jeff G. Bailey's. Kimo! Nice kick, square to the jaw of Jesse Neal. Cover now, hooks both legs, and only a 2 count.
But, you know, Greg Hunter, I'll tell you something. Things not going quite as Jeff G. Bailey's, planned with Jesse Neal here, as you see Kimo stalking over this great American hero, Jesse Neal.
Well, there is no denying the background and service Jesse Neal has done. But this man is now on the payroll of the agent attorney to the NWA Elite.
Do you know if G.I. Joe was a naval officer, it would be Jesse Neal? It'd be G.I. Jesse.
Cover 2 and only a 2 count. Good grief. Kimo, that modified jawbreaker. He has picked his target on Jesse Neal. The information extractor, a potent weapon in the arsenal of the Korean assassin. He telegraphs a little bit, and Jesse Neal catches him coming in. Now, has him. Looks like he's trying to claw out the eyes of Kimo.
Well, once again, it goes back to the wrestling training versus just being able to mooch off of a couple of people to learn what you learn.
And now, Neal ducks the shot and plants Kimo. Puts him down face first on the canvas. Looked like that might have been a belly-to-back suplex. One might call it a belly-to-back gourd buster almost. The crowd here rallying behind Kimo, and he kicks out at 2.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Greg Hunter, there's no tricks. There's no, playing mind games. Kimo's actually having to show what he's made of in the ring. And Jesse Neal, the man that's been hired to take Kimo out, is doing just that right now.
Jesse Neal, what is he doing? He has grabbed a steel chair from ringside. What in the world is Jesse Neal doing?
Well, he's got that chair. Wait a minute. Now what's Ken Wallace doing?
Ken Wallace is doing his job as an NWA official. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. And Kimo right now, as Jesse Neal flirts with a suspension and a fine, Kimo has time to recover. He's got him by the gullet. And now, Kimo looking for that thrust and instead gets speared by Jesse Neal.
You see, Kimo wasted way too much time there. Wasted way too much time. Jesse Neal, with that superior wrestling training, was able to counter and bide his time, and now Kimo paying for it.
Kimo lays more than halfway across the ring. Jesse Neal on the second rope is wasting a lot of time. And Jesse Neal crashed and burned. Kimo drops a knee across the back, and he locks in the information extractor, and here comes the National Heavyweight Champion. Good grief. That will draw the disqualification.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner by disqualification, Kimo!
Kimo wins by disqualification due to outside interference. Jeff Bailey seems to not be the least bit upset over it. That might have been the plan until Kimo put a kink in it, and the boss man has arrived.
Hold it, big man. Hold it, Kimo. Hold on. Hold on. Hang on. Hey, hold on. Easy. I know what you're thinking. I got an answer for it. I got an answer for it. Hang on. Hang on. Friend, you done stepped into a hornet's nest you don't know anything about. Bad choice of partners tonight, buddy. Jeff, your client seemed to have a little problem staying in one place. I got an idea. This is getting dangerous here. It's dangerous to you, it's dangerous for them, it's dangerous for this building and this crowd. We need it contained right here. And up against this wall, we got 10 feet of steel. The only way to keep animals like this is in a cage. So in 2 weeks, this man and this man will meet right here, surrounded by a steel cage. Hey, that stick is for a man. You might want to set that back down. As much as I respect the work you do, you picked the wrong bunch to hang out with tonight, friend. But as generous, you'll love this. You'll love this. Broken English or not. You speak broken English, I don't speak any Korean, so let me break this down for you. I saw your little interview earlier there, pal. You're real big on defending that title. So as I leave, because I got to get somewhere I can see Jeff's reaction better, and I do have approval for this, by the way, from the NWA, your national heavyweight title will be on the line. $10 feet of steel, Jeff, and a lot of gold. Bill Shatter, this guy right here, national heavyweight champion in 2 weeks. Oh, please. I'm going to go out this way, Jeff, because your head will fit through that hole. Good night.